what you're saying.
Okay, fine. So for the visual learners, we have Brand Jordan, or Michael Jordan at this time. Michael Jordan had two really, really, really great partners. One in Nike, of many, but these are two I chose. And the other one in Gatorade.
Okay.
Now, from a marketing perspective, they told two of the greatest stories. Nike, Air. I believe I can fly. If you put these shoes on, they had people jumping off garages.
Rich, I had a pair of Jordans, like the Jordan 3s. You never saw someone with less hops than especially me at 13 or whatever, getting this high off the ground with my tongue out of my mouth.
Did you feel like you can fly?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I did.
From a Gatorade perspective, it was the fuel to win. And it was Gatorade that created the lullaby, like Mike, if I could be like Mike. Exactly, right?
Had the whole world trying to be like Mike.
So what's the importance in those two things? Not only is it the product of hydration, the product of footwear, etc., it's also the media spin that they to really push these campaigns. They're pushing it. And at a time where we didn't have social media, people didn't have computers in their house in abundance, there wasn't much. You had sports, and he was at the forefront of it, right? Then you have the NBA. Like All Eyes on Me, all eyes on Mike. It was clear. It was him, and it was everybody else.
Yeah.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? That's the other thing. This is one that it's a little touchy.
What timing a crack epidemic? What does that mean?
Yes, because the timing, not just the crack epidemic, but also hip hop. When you think about the first influencers were guys like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What shoes did he wear?
This is getting back to what you said, and you used me as an example because I was sitting in front of you. You said it's not that Michael Jordan did this, it's that the influencer who had the BMW or whatever, you said, like Max with the fly girl and the BMW. So you're saying
what I was saying was the hustler was the influencer in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Especially in the black community.
In the neighborhood, the crack epidemic wound up concentrating wealth in a few people who could floss in front of the neighborhood.
Because these people had basically not even careers or high-paying jobs. They just had hustles. So now when you bring forth the crack epidemic, it created a revenue stream amongst a group of consumers that, number one, would have never had that dollar to spend, and they damn sure wouldn't have had it to spend excessively. So and you're saying because crack was more accessible, cheaper, et cetera, it had a different effect than, say,
heroin, which because it's not like the drug trade wasn't always there.
But that was a different time. In the 70s, people wore shoes and suits and pants.
Not jeans and sneakers.
In the late 80s and 90s, people wore sneakers. So now when I'm talking about the timing of it, not just the actual being able to the excessiveness from a dollar, right? Because you're creating this dollar, but at the same time, it's also the thing of choice, the actual thing of choice.
Because the idea of like social media influencer, is like what you're saying is pre-social media influencer. There were still social influencers. There just wasn't any social media.
And then when you talk about what they call product seeding or product placement, what they did extremely well was every guy who was somebody on a show, they placed the product. So you couldn't see it on Instagram. So where'd you see it?
TV.
Oh, I saw in this episode of The Fresh Prince or this episode of Martin. And then you heard it in the music. Oh, and then on my way to school, I not only saw, because many people wasn't seeing the games. The Bulls played on WGN, by the way. And it wasn't like
I
you
could
had
watch
all these.
the Bulls if it was nationally televised or if they played the Knicks.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because your local feed.
Yeah.
Right? But I did get to see, in my case, my Uncle Lance or Bernard Sawyer, just different people that in my neighborhood that had, so now I'm influenced by that, and I love Michael Jordan. So now I want, not only because Mike is wearing them, but I also want them because these guys are wearing them too. And when you created that, that's how he created the greatest athlete brand ever, because Michael Jordan didn't share the market. He controlled the market. There's a difference between the two. Most athletes have a market share. He controlled the market. So much so, when people had children, they bought, my little cousin came home in the booties.
Yeah.
Right?
Little
This has been things for generations. And what happens is the I-95 is what they call the Gold Coast of footwear. When you do shoe deals, and this doesn't exist anymore because one person busted the market. It didn't matter about small markets anymore. New York, Philly, the DMV area, all the way up to Boston. That's the Gold Coast. So when we used to do shoe deals, I personally used to,
not down to Atlanta and down.
Not really, no, not down to Atlanta. It stops right at the DMV. But I used to put, a higher premium on if I had a guy land in those markets. Mm-hmm. It's changed today, but I knew that thing that influenced everything. So what happened was, why you think they went east to those mom and pop stores to be able to, position the product, and then that spread it back west. Fashion goes from east to west. We're influenced by Europe, and it comes across, right? It's the same way. So that's all I was trying to help people understand. But I know some people are visual learners, so I wanted to bring this whiteboard out.
Super interesting, by the way. But so I love it. But I think people are reacting to something else, Rich. Well, first of all, they have a certain idea about you, so they think, oh, he's just trying to diminish Jordan somehow.
No, never diminish.
But this is how I would articulate it. Jordan gets Nike Air, I Believe I Can Fly, because when you watch Jordan, and I know I'm in the minority, the best dunker ever is Vince Carter, or it's Gerald Wilkins, or it's Dominique Wilkins, or whoever. Back in the day, Jordan looked different when he jumped in the air. Kobe didn't look the same. No one looked like Jordan, to the point where I remember SI did an article, and I think it was a cover story, but they talked to physicists to see if it's possible that some people can hang in the air longer than others. And they were like, no, it's just your vertical leap. But the point is,
it's the silhouette.
The way he looked when he went was different because he could shoot the ball on the way down, so his hang time looked.
But it's also a proportionate from a body perspective. Shoulder width, arm length, chest depth, all those things.
It looked right.
Balanced.
But that's the first thing.
That's not.
Fuel to win like Mike. He was the most competitive athlete ever. Stephen A. once told me a story about Jordan, which is like, I would describe it as competition porn, okay? In the sense that, Jordan used to do certain things, I won't mention what, but to antagonize opposing players before the biggest games. And my initial reaction to that was, of course, you're trying to get under their skin, because, a mad athlete is not going to be at their best. It gives you an advantage. That's what Ali used to do. Muhammad Ali would get under Sonny Liston's skin or